Electric vehicles are going unsold, and some U.S. borrowers are struggling to make their loan payments. Today, I read an article on theconversation.com titled, "Electric Cars Pile Up at European Ports as Chinese Firms Struggle to Find Buyers." This story comes out of the UK, but I wanted to share it with you because I think we need to pay attention to what is going on around the world. I'm going to share a quote with you from this article. Chinese cars are facing difficulties in finding buyers in Europe. Imported cars, many of which are Chinese electric vehicles, are piling up at European ports, with some spending up to 18 months in port car parks as manufacturers struggle to get them onto people's driveways. Well, my friends, it sounds like a lot of people in Europe have no interest in EVs right now, just like a lot of people here in the US have no interest in EVs. Now, I know someone is probably going to get in the comment section beneath this video and say I'm just being an EV hater, and this is not true. Someone is probably going to go on and on about how he loves his EV and they are the future. I understand that EVs serve a purpose for some people in society. Some people love the fact that they can charge their EV at home. Some people love that they don't have to worry about oil changes or other types of maintenance that is common with internal combustion engine vehicles. People like this need to understand there are also people who love their internal combustion engine vehicles. This is for a variety of reasons. Some like not having to worry about range limitations. Some don't want to worry about getting to a charging station that isn't working. Some like not having to worry about small amounts of electromagnetic radiation. Talking about EVs is about as controversial as politics. I just find it interesting that EVs are piling up at ports in Europe and some are sitting there for up to 18 months. Here in the US, some EVs are sitting on dealership lots and going unsold. When I visited a GMC dealership recently, they had a brand new EV Hummer. I asked the salesperson if they had sold one yet, and he said no, they hadn't. This was a dealership located in a large city. The dealership moves a lot of inventory each month. I think it was very telling that they hadn't sold a single EV Hummer yet. I read an article back on November 14th on USA Today, which was written by Medora Lee, titled, "Here's Why People Aren't Buying EVs in Spite of Price Cuts and Tax Breaks." The author of that article referenced a Car Guru's October report that revealed EV inventories had increased 506% from a year ago. EVs sit on the market an average of 82 days versus 64 days for gas-powered vehicles. Here's my concern with all of this. Auto manufacturers have placed huge bets on EVs. If this does not work out as planned, there could be a lot of layoffs in the future. I worry about what some of these laid-off factory workers are going to do. Some factories are located in areas where the plants are the primary employers. A lot of these factory workers own homes. If large numbers of people start getting laid off and they can't find good employment in their area, what is going to happen when all of them start listing their homes for sale? I think that could result in some having a hard time selling their homes. This may prevent them from moving to a new area for a different job. Maybe some could rent their homes out, but to who? If the primary employer in the area is a factory and the management team there is focused on laying off people and not hiring. Getting back to the first article that I referenced today, Europe is interesting because they allow these inexpensive Chinese vehicle imports. Here in the US, we are not seeing these flood the ports because of tariffs. One senator here in the US wants to see even stiffer tariffs moving forward. I read an article on Reuters.com written by David Shepardson titled, "Senator Rubio Seeks Stiffer Tariff to Stop China Flooding U.S. Auto Markets." According to the author, Republican U.S. Senator Marco Rubio proposed sharply boosting tariffs on Chinese vehicle imports by $20,000 to stop the country from flooding U.S. auto markets. This is an effort to protect American automakers and auto workers. I found this to be interesting. I think U.S. auto manufacturers better hope and pray the government prevents Chinese vehicles from hitting our shores in droves. Here's why I think that. Xiaomi makes some amazing smartphones, many of which have specs that are more impressive than the most expensive iPhone, and they cost a lot less. This Chinese company already manufactures some impressive cars. If these cars hit the US shores and they sell for less money than what US manufacturers have, this could really impact US manufacturers in a big way. Reflect on what happened with television manufacturers in America. At one time, there were a lot of US manufacturers who made television sets such as RCA, GE, Magnavox, Zenith, and Westinghouse. People here in the US bought these televisions, and people from all around the world bought them too. Now, there are no American companies who manufacture television sets. Imagine if that happens with car manufacturers in the US. Depending on what happens in Washington, US auto manufacturers could see a rapid decline in sales. I read once that between 1970 and 1976, Japanese brands like Sony and Panasonic tripled their market share in the US for television sets, which allowed them to capture nearly half of it. That happened in just 6 years. That shows you how quickly things can happen. Of course, we are talking about TV sets and not cars and trucks, but I just want you to think for a moment how quickly the tides could turn. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I have to wonder who is going to buy all of these expensive new vehicles on dealership lots in the future. I wonder this because of another article that I read today about people who are having a hard time just paying for what they already have. This one was on Reuters.com, written by Nupur Anand, entitled, U.S. Consumers on Lower Incomes Face Loan Stress While Banks Pull Back. According to the author, U.S. borrowers on lower incomes are increasingly struggling to keep up with their loan payments, according to recent data and bank executives, prompting banks to become more cautious about dishing out credit cards and car loans. The author went on to say Bank of America net charge-offs rose to $1.5 billion in the first quarter from $807 million a year earlier, mainly from credit cards. JP Morgan Chase's charge-offs nearly doubled to $2 billion in the same quarter. Charge-offs also increased at Citigroup and Wells Fargo. Well, my friends, if you are having a hard time making your credit card payments, you are probably not going out shopping for a new car. With how expensive cars are getting these days, I worry about how much debt some people are taking on. Cars are not investments. They are depreciating liabilities. Once the warranty period expires, some of these expensive high-tech vehicles are very expensive to maintain. I've had some mechanics comment beneath my videos in the past who have told me some modern vehicles are basically disposable because of how they have been designed and manufactured. Getting back to the article, the author referenced Tom Dent, who is the senior vice president at the Consumer Bankers Association, who said banks are trying to come up with early warning signals for customers about their bill payments and offer them debt counseling and educate more customers so they can stay on track. Here are my thoughts about all of this. It may help some people. However, there comes a point where your income just is not enough to service all of your debt. Some people can't live further beneath their means to free up cash, and they can't bring in more money. Some can't get overtime at their jobs, and some are too tired after working physical jobs to work part-time jobs at night. In my opinion, you can offer all of the debt counseling and education you want to people in these types of situations, and it isn't going to fix anything. Some people may end up defaulting on some of their debt and trashing their credit in the process. Once your credit gets trashed, life gets more difficult. It is a lot harder to finance things in life that you need, and you may even pay more for car insurance if you have bad credit in some states. Fortunately for people with bad credit, not all states allow insurance companies to set pricing based on credit scores. I want you all to keep in mind that all of this is happening during a time when our economy is supposedly booming, according to politicians in the mainstream media. What in the world will we potentially start hearing about if and when inflation continues to climb, or if we see a big correction in equities, or if we see unemployment spike? Some banks are already potentially exposed to bad commercial loans. How will they handle mass waves of defaults for other types of debt from consumers? Only time will tell. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, Seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.